Okay, so every year, the entire tech world descends on Las Vegas for CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, to give us all a peek at the future. But this year, wow, this year feels different. That future feels like it's right on our doorstep. The line between what's science fiction and what's real is getting seriously blurry.
And I want to kick things off with this bombshell of a prediction. It comes from the man who runs the whole show, Gary Shapiro, the CEO of the Consumer Technology Association. He said, in a few years, we'll probably be playing Guess the Human. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is a wild statement. So what on earth is he talking about, and how do we even get here? Let's unpack it.
Well, it all starts with a word you've heard a million times, artificial intelligence. But, and this is the key thing, we are not talking about the same old AI. Something fundamental has changed. AI is finally moving out of the invisible cloud and, well, right into our world. And this really breaks it down perfectly. For so long, AI was this amorphous thing, right? It was hidden away in giant data centers or running things in a factory. You couldn't see it, you couldn't touch it. But now AI is becoming tangible. It's being physically embedded into the products we actually see and use every single day.
So where are we seeing this pop up? All over the place, really. We're seeing it in new products designed to help us live longer. It's the brain inside self-driving cars. It's making our homes smarter. But the place where this is all coming together in the most dramatic, most visible way is in one specific area. You guessed it, robots.
And look, we are not talking about a couple of new gadgets here. The sheer scale of robotics at this year's CES is a massive signal. This isn't some niche hobby anymore. This is a full-on robot revolution. And you don't have to take my word for it. Let's just look at the numbers.
Get this, over 3,000 entries were submitted for the Innovation Awards this year. That is just a massive, unprecedented number. It points to this incredible explosion of new hardware, new ideas, and robotics is right at the heart of it.
I mean, this chart says it all, right? In previous years, you might see around 45 robotics companies at the show. This year, over 100. As the head of CES himself put it, it's more robotics companies than we've ever had by far. So, the big question is, what are all these new robots for?
Well, the short answer is pretty much everything. They're being designed to fit into every corner of our lives, as our pets, our workers, and even as our companions. Let's start with a really cool example that people were talking about a lot last year.
So, meet the Tombbot puppy. This little guy is way more than just a cute toy. It's an AI-powered companion, specifically designed to be like a service dog for elderly people. It can respond to voice commands, it provides real comfort, but you don't have to feed it or take it for walks. It's just a perfect example of robotics being used to solve a very real, very human problem. And the Tombbot is really just one tiny piece of the puzzle. The whole spectrum of robotics today is just huge. You've got everything from these pet companions to medical assistants in hospitals to super advanced industrial robots, you name it. But now, there's a new category, one that's about to change absolutely everything.
Yep, the humanoids are here. For literally decades, this was just stuff you saw in the movies. Not anymore. They are real, and they are walking the floor at CES.
And this is what brings us right back to that Guess the Human game. This is that moment. You know, the one where sci-fi stops being fiction and just becomes reality. And honestly, it's happening way faster than I think anyone really expected. So how did we get here so fast? This timeline is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. You go back to the late 80s and you had these clumsy, clunky prototypes that were basically just novelties. Then, in the early 2000s, boom, the robotic vacuum cleaner becomes the first real consumer hit. Just a few years ago, we saw these incredibly lifelike animal robots and super smart industrial bots. And that brings us to today. The humanoids are here. The pace of this change is just staggering.
So let's go back to that quote one more time. We'll probably be playing Guess the Human. You know, when he first said that, it might have sounded like pure hype, right? Like an exaggeration. But after you see what's actually happening on the ground at CES, it doesn't seem so crazy anymore, does it? This is a real conversation now.
And that leaves us with the one question that all of this technology is forcing us to confront. From a little robot puppy that brings comfort to an elderly person, all the way to a humanoid that could one day walk down the street next to you, as these machines get better and better, more and more lifelike, if you really can't tell the difference anymore, does it even matter? That's the big question. Something to think about.